Good day, everyone. Welcome back to Clean Cut EDC. Today, we are talking about a next level, super awesome vintage collector's piece from Leatherman. It is the Leatherman Pulse, right? And I keep it in this very nice leather belt sheath. And yeah, guys, so here's the honest truth, right? This might be a collector's piece, a vintage piece, a whatever piece, an ancient piece for some people, but for me, this is still my everyday Leverman. Some people's got the wave or the sidekick or the ref or the rebar, and I'm still stuck using the pulse. However, I've got to say, this came out in 2000, right? Or in the 2000, year 2000. So early 2000. And it still has the patent pending on it. So I'm guessing this was produced exactly in the year 2000. And therefore, we can assume that it is about 24 years old, which is almost as old as I am. So that's just crazy, man. And it's still running smooth. Now, I've put this thing through hell. Yeah, I wouldn't wish the damage that I've done to this little Leatherman and the work that I've done with this little Leatherman on my biggest enemy, right? This thing is tough as nails. It is freaking next level. Now, I bought this thing secondhand, and the previous owner is the one that did those punching of the pliers. So I'm guessing this came apart at one stage, and then he pressed that little bushing back in and then punched it to fit again. So this thing has really seen some bad days. We've got paint on there, we've got some scratch marks, we've got broken pieces of teeth in there. It's ridiculous. But still, I don't leave the house without it. It's on my side almost every day. I use it basically every single day. And I don't mean like I use it to cut a thread. I mean, I use it. I use at least 2 or 3 of the tools on this piece every single day. So for myself, I do like home improvement, home refurbishing, but that's not the only job I have. I'm also a missionary in Africa and do various jobs. So yes, all of which require a good tool, right? And I don't know why I haven't switched to the wave yet. I don't know why I haven't explored the surge, but I don't feel like I need it, right? This thing has got what I need and it's working just fine. So no need to explore that. Right, let's go through the tools and then we're going to talk about what really sets this thing apart, the locking mechanism, right? So we've got the needle pliers, the needle nose pliers, and we've got some little teeth in there that is filled with paint and I don't even know what else. Although some of those teeth have been broken off and are sort of flush, they work great. Then we've got our larger teeth here that you can sort of use for some light spanner work if you're really in a pinch. Definitely don't recommend it, but I have actually a week ago I took a car battery out for a guy using those teeth. So for light use, you can definitely use it in a sense to undo bolts and screws. And then we've got our non-replaceable or non-removable side clippers, which are holding up freaking well. I almost want to say I feel like the side clippers that's non-replaceable, that's permanent side clippers, might even be tougher than our modern day removable side clippers and replaceable side clippers. They are next level tough. Works great, perfect, right? I don't feel like I'm missing out with the replaceable side clippers. However, if I were to actually chip these, then they'd be gone, right? I'd have to replace the tool to get my side clippers back. With regards to the handles, definitely very rough up top. So if you're going to creep up or have massive gigantic hands, this might not be the Leatherman for you. Very uncomfortable at the top. However, yeah, at the bottom part, or where you would grip the Leatherman, it's rounded on the edges and it makes it super comfortable to hold in hand. A very ergonomic position with regards to this Leatherman with those rounded edges, right? If you're going to use the tools, it's going to be no problem because you're probably just going to use the outside, which is all rounded, no rough spots, very comfortable to hold in hand, right? The pliers are not spring assisted. You'll have to operate them, open and close them with your fingers itself, but I haven't really found that to be a problem. However, with the modern day Leatherman, I think most of them are actually spring assisted. Some of them aren't, and for good reason as well. Some people don't like that spring assisted effect because they want to sort of have better control over where that thing opens up, or whether or not it opens up completely if you were to lose the if you were to leave this the handle. I apologize, my head's not thinking. All right, then let's talk about the tools here at the bottom. So we've got our knife, standard blade shape, 440HC, nothing fancy, not the 154 cm, not the S30V, not the Magna Cut that they're using these days. These are just plain old, silly 440HC, which works very, very well. I've resharpened it while I was very tired, which made that edge look horrific, but it cuts, and that's all I needed to do. So yeah. All right, then we've got our just get that. All right, we've got our scissors, our pair of scissors, which I'm very thankful for. These are actually very nice scissors. They got a little landing pads for your thumb, and they are in fact spring assisted. Now, thinking that this is a tool that came out in the 2000s, right? That is just absolutely ridiculous that they've had that sort of engineering back then. It is just awesome, man. Yo, this won't cut wires and it won't cut paracord, but it will definitely cut paper and it will definitely cut cardboard. So there's that, right? They are limited to some extent. They're not the biggest scissors in the world, of course. Then we've got two flatheads. So we've got our our smaller flathead, which can be used as a sort of a little scraper, little chisel, maybe a little pry bar. And then we've got our larger flathead, which can definitely be used as a pry bar. And I have actually used it repeatedly as a pry bar, and it works very, very well. Also, with regards to our scissors, we've got this little section back here. Which you can use to tighten rope or whatnot. Okay. Then we've also got our can opener on this side and a scraper or package opener. However, this is definitely not sharp enough anymore to open our packages, but if I do sharpen it, it will definitely work as a package opener. Can opener wise, it works great. I've used it a ton of times, and it's definitely up there. Works as well as the new can openers, right? Modern can openers. Then what I consider to be probably one of the toughest aspects of this pulse is our Phillips head. It's not the 3D Phillips head, it's just a plain old Phillips head, and it works. It's a freaking hard ass of a Phillips head. I've loosened, let me put it this, I've loosened screws with this Phillips head that a impact driver struggled with, right? So doing a little bit more detailed work, doing a little bit more, precision work with this Phillips head works great. Then we've got our little very, very small flathead, which maybe can be used for glasses. I don't wear glasses, so I won't know. Or maybe loosening the screws on a laptop or computer, little fine work, little toothpick sort of effect going on. But yeah, works great for those little tasks. And then we've got our file. It's a coarse file and then a diamond file on the other side. The diamond file is it's had its day. And I've actually sharpened some knives like at my job or in the field, I'd say, with this little diamond file. And then sneaky, hidden away back here, come on, Leatherman is always so sneaky with their little lanyard slots. There we go, little lanyard slot there. You can close this up, put a lanyard on it, even in the little belt sheath. You can still have the lanyard hang down here, whatever the case might be. So that's great. I don't use the lanyard yet, but maybe I'll put a little lanyard bead on there and make it more personal. Then, one of the greatest parts about this Leatherman is definitely the ruler. I will never in my life buy a Leatherman without this tool, right? It is one of the most underrated pieces of kit on the Leatherman, the ruler, right? The ruler it has saved my life like countless times. Just if you want that quick measurement of the size of the nut, or you want that quick measurement of the screw or the plug for the wall, or whatever the case might be, having a small little ruler, which is not even that small, it's 20 centimeters, right? is fantastic, guys. It has helped me out so many times. It really made my life a lot easier, which I'm very thankful for, and definitely will never buy a Leatherman without it. All right, let's look at our locking system. So this has been let's use the pry bar. So this was, if I'm correct, I'm talking under correction, but this was the very first Leatherman that had a sort of a locking mechanism, something that wasn't a friction lock, if I'm correct. I'm a little bit doubting it because I don't know if the first generation wave came before it, but I know the side clip, I know the PST, the super tool, they all had, in a sense, a friction lock. So it's a slip joint style, right? But this has a set locking mechanism that you need to disengage to actually release the tool. So this, you need to press all the way back to release this tool. Now, this does make this Leatherman hardly a one-handed operated tool, right? With the friction locks, you can still argue that it can be sort of, in some sense, be one-handed operated to some extent, with a little bit of discomfort. But this thing, no, it's not even there. You need both hands to disengage the lock and close the tool. It's just the way it is, and hasn't bothered me yet. And if it hasn't bothered me yet, then it's probably never gonna bother me, right? I would argue that this has been probably one of the strongest locking mechanisms from Leatherman, right? If you look at the tool itself, it's got these little nicks, and once you go to open it, that bar slots in there, and this thing isn't going anywhere, guys. To disengage this lock, it's not going to happen by accident, right? You really need to pull that thing back. It takes quite a lot of tension to disengage, which also does not make this necessarily super friendly for every user, right? You actually do need to have a little bit of finger strength to operate this guy. But I've no fear ever that this thing will just close on me, ever, right? I trust this more than I trust a frame lock knife. So so there's that, which is great. It's almost like a back lock in a sense. Really awesome Leatherman. Love it. It's a good collector's piece. It's a vintage knife. It doesn't have the modern features, right? I'm not going to recommend you get one. But if you're a Leatherman collector, this definitely needs to be in that collection as the classic piece that it is. The Leatherman Pulse, ladies and gentlemen, is a keeper. All right. Guys, have a great day. Have a knife day. And remember that no knife means no life.